Oh, hello. My name is Lee Lucas, and today I have a special report for you on the Mossy Creek watershed. A recent place of interest to many locals is the Mossy Creek River, located in the Shenandoah Valley, that runs through Bridgewater, a town close to Harrisonburg, Virginia, home of the infamous JMU Dukes. This creek is one of JMU's and Virginia's finest fly fishing destinations, according to multiple sources throughout the region. Due to the increase in human activity in the Mossy Creek region, we will be reporting on the water quality and the overall health of the river and how it may affect the nearby water quality of the North River, both upstream and downstream. As you can see from the figure behind me, the reach of the watershed extends 15.3 miles, and the winding Mossy Creek affects many farms and forested areas throughout the region. In recent years, the creek has had an interesting chemical change and in properties that need to be analyzed to correctly determine the creek's health. One such of these properties is the pH. From the line graph behind me, you can see that there has been a steady increase in pH over the last few years, and the data reached a high in 2012. In the nearby upper North River, we can see many spikes in the water's acidity and the basicness, instead of a steady climb, such as in the Mossy Creek. What could be the potential cause of this? What could be happening to the water quality? Another property to analyze is the orthophosphate levels in each body of water, the Mossy Creek and in the upper North River. In recent years, the upper North River has been experiencing much higher levels of this individual phosphorus molecules than in the nearby Mossy Creek River. In some cases, the orthophosphate levels spike dangerously high. Could these levels have a cause? Is there a correlation with a physical property in the water? The last important chemical property we'll report on today will be the nitrate levels in these two rivers. Lucky for us, the nitrate levels are always under the suggested levels by the government. Don't let these graphs fool you behind me. These suggested nitrate levels are under 10 milligrams per liter for both rivers, seemingly unaffected by the startling evidence of deteriorating conditions and other chemical aspects of the two rivers. How long can these nitrate levels be expected to remain healthy? Why may the pH level be slowly increasing in Mossy Creek? What is the cause of the sharp spikes in pH of the North River? Why are orthophosphate levels fluctuating so greatly? All questions can be answered by our analyst, Brandon White. Over to you.
Thanks, Lee. Nice tie, by the way. You're looking good. Well, the pH in Mossy Creek may have reached higher levels due to increased urbanization in surrounding areas and an increase in dissolved oxygen affecting aquatic plant life, and the increase in fly fishing. The spikes that we have seen in orthophosphate are related to some of the high turbidity that we have been seeing. The turbidity is caused by mixed sediment in the water, which allows phosphorus to become suspended. It has come to our attention by Farmer Bob that there was livestock in the river that disrupted the river bottom rising turbidity. Recently, these livestock have been fenced off. And Lee, for your last question, the nitrate levels will remain at a reasonable level as long as there is no increase in use of fertilizers in the area. Mossy Creek is one of many watersheds that contribute to the water quality in below HRRSA, so it may just have a small impact, and the water coming out of Mossy Creek watershed seems to have similar qualities as the North River. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon. Now to our man in the field, Joseph Lau.
Mossy Creek needs us.
I will be performing a windshield survey by driving throughout the watershed and recording not only the characteristics of the river, but also the potential pollutants of Mossy Creek. As we drive to the bottom of the river, we can see a vineyard and a farm as possible contributors to the water quality of the North River.
We're here at the bottom of Mossy Creek, and as you can see, the banks of the river are very steep, and behind us is a number of farms that could possibly contribute to the pollution of this creek.
As you can see, the bottom of Mossy Creek has a poor riparian habitat, making it susceptible to erosion. The benthic substrates consist of cobblestones and silt. As we move up the Mossy Creek, we see more farms and residential areas bordering the Mossy Creek. The banks are not as steep as what we saw at the bottom of the river, and the creek is shallower, with silt and dirt deposits in some areas of the river. As you can see, there are a number of farm animals that contributes to the pollution of this creek. Here we see a man-made lake that is linked to the creek. And dogs.
Doggies! Hello!
Yeah, cows!
Here we see another example of Mossy Creek's riparian habitat and its silt and dirt deposits. Moving up the Mossy Creek, we see a horse ranch and cornfields. This part of the Mossy Creek is for public use, and as you can see, a net is supporting the banks of this river. A pool and ripple sequence can be clearly seen with heavy stones and logs at the bottom of the pool and cobblestones at the ripple. Here we see a healthy riparian habitat with trees and a gradual sloping of the banks.
We're underneath the bridge of Mossy Creek Road, where they fly fish for trout. All right.
Here is another public area designated for fly fishing. In this area of the creek next to a fire station, the water is very shallow, covered in leaves suitable for shredders and collectors. The riparian habitat is supported by some trees, and the benthic substrates consist of cobblestones covered in algae. Driving up near the head of the river is a huge pool covered in algae. Next to a residential neighborhood, this slow-moving pool looks murky from the road. At the head of Mossy Creek, we see that the water is fairly clear, surrounded by large rocks and some trees.
We did it, guys! We're at the end. We're at the head of Mossy Creek. This is awesome.
Leaving Mossy Creek, we take a glance at the North River upstream of Mossy Creek. With a noticeable width difference, the banks are supported by a plethora of trees. Like the Mossy Creek, the North River watershed is also bordered by a number of farms and residential areas.
And back to you.
Thank you, Joe. Now over to Aaron with our conclusion.
Thank you, Lee. In conclusion, Mossy Creek and the North River appear to be healthier over the last 4 years than over the average over the previous 16. Although nitrate concentrations have increased, possibly because of industrial agricultural use of land surrounding both watersheds, they are still well below a point where it would negatively impact the watershed. Average orthophosphates and ammonia concentrations have decreased in both watersheds, and while the orthophosphate concentrations were high, the natural limestone in the area means that that's probably not negatively impacting aquatic life. Good night, and you stay classy, Harrisonburg.